Hello.
Just a second. Okay. So that's that. And good thing that you're here is quite nicely timed. So hello and welcome to IRL F2 here for round 8 at France. Of course today I'm joined once again by Lordy.
What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's doing alright.
Do I have any car sound? I think I need to pause first. Yeah, there we go. So, of course, France, it's got plenty of overtaking opportunities. Me and Ollie Flavel, of course, saw NFP plenty of overtaking opportunities. I'm sure you experienced in that race as well yourself. So, expecting some good racing. Of course, today, both of the title rivals here, which is always nice to see the Haas of Adrian Villarreal and Jared Fosbury in that Renault. Of course, Adrian Villarreal coming to blows a little bit with Jared Fosbury, both of them in a few incidents last week. Jared Fosbury with a 10-second penalty at the, well, to be added to his race time today as well. So not going to be helping himself out with that one. But, of course, that's how it is sometimes. Adrian had to cope with it in Japan, and now I guess it's kind of Jared's turn to cope with it here in France. So, got a few people on laps right now. Adrian Villarreal setting the pace at a 28.2, so not too bad of a lap. Certainly, I think capable of quicker 27s or mid 27s. I would expect for a pole position here today. But we'll go on board with Tom Jewell to finish up his lap. If you see anyone else on a lap, you can pick up once I finish up with Tom Jewell, Lordy, as he goes through the final corner. A little bit of a lock-up for Tom Jewell as he exits the final corner, keeping it in third gear, interestingly. Not going to be helping him with the turn-in, but certainly on traction as he crosses the line. 27.9, a quite nice banker from Tom Jewell to get things started.
Marcel is the next one for me. Just coming around the final two corners now. It's going to be a fantastic time, I think. That's a fantastic banker, maybe. Here we go, coming to the line now in the Red Bull Racing. It's going to be a 128 something. 128.3, yeah, not too bad from Marcel. Tom Jewell does have the forbidden setup, as I like to call it, so he he will be very quick around France. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But not a bad lap from Marcel. A few more people getting a few invalids. I think TCG Storm is the next one in the racing point, but he's on a set of medium, so let's see what he can set as he comes to the line now.
Yeah, we'll go on board with some Adrian Lennon on the mediums, of course, and he's going to cross the line, of course, last of everyone, as you'd expect, 29.6. Seems to be quite a good lap time, to be fair, on the mediums. I'm not sure what the gap is exactly. I'd assume a second or second and a half it would be roughly, and if you do a bit of maths, that medium time does look pretty much up to standard. Maybe a few tenths in it, but good medium lap to get things started. Is okay, I'm not sure if you see that as well, but just there. Oh my god. Can you go on board with Thiago?
Yep.
What?
It's fine for me.
Is it fine for you?
Yep, fine for me. He's
okay,
racing
well,
around on sets.
yeah, what the stream saw there was him sitting in a garage with his gearbox spazzing out, and also it was spazzing out from like pit to outlap on the timing sheets, but he is actually out. There is nothing wrong there. Just a Codemasters game, you know. But Alan Wagner is on an invalid lap, so that doesn't actually matter. Looks like Thiago's going to be the next one to set a lap, as Adam Corrigan is going to be going to pit lane.
It was Jared, but he did his outlap and decided to box. So I imagine I know what strategy Jared's going to do. He's going to do the alternate strategy, which is so much better around here. Obviously, if it weren't for the top 10 starting on the tyre they're qualifying on, I think everybody would do the alternate strategy, because hard medium is just
Adam's
so
actually,
much
Jared Fosbury has retired from the session in the pit lane, as far as I can tell.
Yep, like I say, probably doing the alternate strategy. Only unless there is issues.
And same
with
as
the lobby.
Paco Suarez. So the Renault team in general thinking an alternate strat is a better way to go?
Oh, 100%. The ultimate strat around here is ridiculously overpowered. The soft runners, if you're on the softs from the start, you've got to get top 3 and try and bolt off the start, but it's just a slipstream fest around here. All you got to do is stay in the slipstream with the guy ahead, stick behind them until the final lap, and then maybe go for a move. So, you know, there is a lot of overtaking opportunities, and it can get a bit feisty, but if you want to race cleanly and perfectly and get the maximum amount of points and result, then just sit behind someone the entire race and pit when you're supposed to and just stay there until you need to make an overtake. So, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that the game's programmed like this, but everybody on the soft tyres trying to set a fast lap needs to be in the top 3. If they're not in the top 3, I'm not going to expect them to finish anywhere higher than 5th.
Yes, we're on board with Thiago Silva. Of course, he was the man who put it on pole and converted the pole into a win in a kind of wet to dry race in Austria last week. Of course, he's going to be coming through the chicane here to try and repeat what he did last week with another pole, I'm sure, as we're going to see what his Sector 2 time is as he crosses the line for it, and it is apparently purple. You never know with these Codemasters games, but he is going to be going through turn 11 now. This is a very tricky corner to get right, as he's going to be approaching turn 12 now. Last few corners in Sector 3, we'll see how well of a lap he's going to be able to put together. Of course, if that was a purple Sector 2, maybe a good Sector 1 as well, he might be able to put this on pole position. Of course, last week he was able to do it. The Haas team in general seems a very good lineup now that they got Thiago on the team. I should say kind of upgraded from reserve to a full driver, and it's a 28.0 for Thiago and, well, a 2-3 for Haas.
Yeah, just looking at the Haas of Sassy at the moment, he hasn't validated this lap, so he is really trying to push the boundaries as fast as he can. I don't know if he will pit at the end of this lap or if he will just set the time just for the Delta. But he is looking fast, but like I say, Tom Jewell with the forbidden setup, as I like to call it, he's going to be rapid around here, and I can't see anybody on the same strat as Tom with the soft tyres getting anywhere near him. If he's going to get beat by somebody, I'm not going to lie to you, I think it would be a big letdown for Tom, because he's miles quicker, especially from what I've seen anyway. He's F1 pace.
Well, I mean, I haven't been around to know that, but I guess if the general consensus is that he is F1 pace with his setup, I guess we'll be expecting good things from Tom, which wouldn't be too bad. Of course, the last time he took a pole position was back in Britain in round 3, I think it was. Of course, now round 8, 5 rounds later, he's put it on provisional pole position right now. Only person in the 27s. I'm sure some other people are going to have something to say about that, as Kieran goes way off the track. Doesn't look like he was invalidated. Not sure why, but he's going to be able to continue on with his lap. I don't think it's going to be a very good lap, as he also had a bit of traffic, and yeah, he's going to be going to the pit lane after that, so no lap for Kieran then. Dominic Hurley is on a lap for sure, as he's going to be coming through the chicane now. Need to really cut it. Didn't look like he cut it quite as much as he could, and also the second part of the chicane as well. Really needs to be cutting those corners a lot more to be gaining time.
Sorry, I'm just having a look at Tom also getting a slipstream from his teammate down the straight, which is absolutely just ridiculous. He doesn't need this at all. He's quicker than me. Obviously, I'm in F1, and he's about 3 times quicker than me in qualifying alone with the setup that he has. So, yeah, the fact that he's using his teammate for slipstream as well, he's not confident in his own abilities, which is quite funny. Tom's been setting some very impressive lap times in qualifying, and if anybody does get anywhere near him, I won't be very surprised. But it's been a very clean lap from him so far. He's going to nail the apex into there. Yes, he is. Tom Jewell, here he comes.
Yeah, Dominic Hurley will be crossing the line. Or, well, he's not actually set a lap. I'm not sure why that is. Or maybe he was on an outlap in the game, didn't tell me. But Tom Jewell, of course, is on a lap for sure. He's going to be going up to the line, trying to improve on his 27.9, and he's going to cross the line 27.5.
Yep, he can go even quicker than that. That's the surprising thing in testing. He said that his best lap was a 27.3. So, yeah, that is very, very quick. That lap time beat me in F1 and beat you yourself, I think, as well, and a few other drivers in F1. So the setup really paying dividends. But fair play to Tom, he does have to do it himself as well, so it's not all down to the self. He's still got to keep it clean and get the lap done, so very impressive from the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, certainly is. He'll be looking for a win today, I'm sure, after maybe he thinks he could have got it in Britain all those rounds ago. This is kind of another opportunity, I guess, as he's so far ahead, 5/10 ahead of the next person. Marcel now is going to be finishing up his second lap. We'll see how well he can do in the Red Bull. He's going to cross the line. Is he going to improve? No, he's not, as he's going to be finishing up there 10th off his original time, so no improvement in position for Marcel, unfortunately. Louis Quinlan on an outlap there, so we'll keep that in mind.
Is P2.
That? Yep, Alan Wagner.
Fantastic lap from Alan Wagner. I was just on board with him. It was a very clean lap from the lad, and managed it. It took a very strange line to the final corner, actually. Went a bit deeper than a lot of people. Got a lovely exit out of the final corner, and he's put it on P2 at the moment. He's got another lap to go. I think everyone will have at least one more lap, so let's see where he finishes, but at the moment, provisional P2.
Yeah, and of course I think he's got something to prove after last week, as he feels he could have won if the circumstances were a little different, and for sure that could have been the case, but just couldn't get it, just a little bit short of his first IRL win. Of course, that going to Thiago, which ended up actually being his first IRL win. I'm sure Alan Wagner's got something to prove, and maybe he's going to be trying to go for this pole for sure, but maybe a little bit out of the question with Tom being as quick as you're saying he is, and also, well, the 27.5 is certainly quick. So, yeah, maybe you're going to have to jump Tom off the line if he can even get a second. Of course, Adrian Villarreal still yet to set a competitive time.
Well, the race is a different story around here. Like I said before, pure pace gets you so far, but around here it's just a slipstream fest anyway. So if Alan Wagner or Thiago or Sassy can just stay in the DRS of Tom, he's not going to pull away because he's got nobody ahead of him. So Tom's not going to get DRS, and I'd be surprised if Tom does pull away. And they can just stay with him for the entire race. So having them extra tenths in the race and in quality means absolutely nothing around here. The people who I'm worried about is not the people around Tom at the start, it's the ultimate strategy runners, because they're going to be so fast at the end of the race. Especially if they run hard medium, they are going to absolutely blitz it. So he's got to be careful. Just
a thing there, Louis Quinlan doing the same as Tom and Jewel. He was getting a bit of slipstream off his teammate Reece March going down Sector 2. He's 3/10 off his original time. He's on the mediums. I'm not sure why he's trying to improve a soft lap, as he does actually back off. So maybe he thought it was possible, but a bit of a lost cause, I think, as he's going to be surely going back into the pit lane now. So yeah, it's going to be 7th for the moment, and I think it's going to stay that way, as he's got not too much time to be able to get out and do another lap. Someone who certainly does, Adrian Villarreal, he's out of the pits now. Let's see what he can do on his final run.
I think Louis was just heating up the tyres, to be honest with you, because it looks, yeah, he's going for another lap. So Louis just heating up the tyres there in the Mercedes on the mediums. Obviously they take a bit of time to get used to and time to heat up. So Louis, you can easily do medium hard round here as well, as he takes a very interesting line to the pit wall. And he's going to get a nice run into turn 1. I just want to see his first sector actually on the mediums, because it is very tricky. And the area is struggling on exit. Doesn't invalidate, which is crucial, but I imagine there are a few people on
there. Yeah, I just have to say that, yeah, an important lap is Tim Stadens. He's 2/10 up on his time right now, and that is apparently a purple sector 2 as well. So I think this might be a lap that could be able to challenge Tom Jewell. Of course, he's on a 27.5. It looks like a big gap, but maybe Tim had a bit of a bad lap himself, as he's going to be coming through the final few corners now. As he goes through the penultimate and final corner, really need to set up the final corner nicely. As he does, he's going to exit the final corner, opening up the DRS flap as well. He's going to be approaching the line, loses ERS, but let's see how well he can do. No, it's only 5th, so an apparent fastest middle sector, but not good enough to even get into the 27s.
Yeah, not close at all, unfortunately, as Kieran also invalidates his lap and has to get out of the way of a Williams, I think, there, who is on an out lap. Who else is on a lap? Reece March has got an invalidated medium lap, so I imagine he'll back off and go for another one. Who else is out there? Louis. I don't know if he's going to back off and go for another one. I don't know if he's got the fuel. He's taken out some brake marker boards, actually, in the final sector, but I'm not really too sure what he's playing at.
Yeah, I
he just takes the pit lane.
Well.
Just takes the pit lane, so he is out the way now.
Adrian Villarreal now going through Sector 1. He's going to be finishing up in a second. We'll see how much 3/10 up on his time. So this is at least going to be a 27, as long as he can keep the next two sectors together. If we can make them any faster, then I think this is certainly going to be challenging Tom Jewell. Of course, Tom Jewell on a 27.5 as he's going to be approaching.
He's going even faster. He's got a purple sector 1 and 2, Tom Jewell has. He's really pushing. He's 2/10 up, 2.5 up. So he's absolutely crazy. I need to keep on board with him because this lap's absolutely sensational. If he can keep it together, he's nailed every single corner, got slipstream down the straight from Tim, his teammate. And it has been a sensational lap. He just misses the apex slightly, but gets away with it as he carries the speed through the corner in the final sector. He's approaching the final two corners now. Can he keep it in? He can for the penultimate corner. It's just the final corner. Take a nice wide entry. Oh, misses the apex slightly. It's going to cost him a tiny bit of time, but short shifts early to get the traction, and now fully floors it to the line. It's going to be Tom Jewell to the line at 27.2. Look at that. Wow. Sensational.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing how well Adrian Villarreal can do now to the line. It's an improvement. It's a 27.8, but nowhere near Tom Jewell. So, the championship leader in second place, he's going to need a good start to be able to try and pull away from Jared Fosbury, who, of course, is on the other end of the grid.
Yeah, Marcel spun in the final sector. Marcel has spun, and I think Thiago's invalidated his lap, so Alan Wagner could be the only person to, I wouldn't even say dethrone Tom, dethrone Sassy in second. He can be the only man. I can't see anybody else out there. I think Sean is coming across the line now. Don't know if he's going to improve. He goes to 7th. And then Adam as well. He's 9th at the moment. Can he improve on a 29? He can and goes 8th. And I think TCG Storm is a second up on his lap, so that's going to take him roughly around 8th or 7th. So let's see where he positions himself. But no, he actually cuts the pit lane and backs out. So I think Alan Wagner's the final person out there.
He's the last person who's going to be able to challenge Tom Jewell, you would think, but his sector 2 was not the best. He's about a 10th down on his time, so he's going to have to really find a lot of time in this final sector. I really don't think he's going to be able to find enough. Maybe a small improvement could beat Adrian to second, but it's going to be a little bit of a stretch as he's going to be opening up the DRS, approaching the line. How well can he do now? Cross the line. And a little bit of an improvement, to be fair to him. He's the third person to get into the 27s, but he's not good enough to beat any or gain any extra positions. And, well, it's going to be Tom Jewell as he enters the pit lane, surely to do a little bit of celebration before the race. Tom Jewell is on pole.
As I said, the forbidden setup really really helping Tom out there. It's a nice lap to look at. Obviously getting slipstream as well from Tim really did benefit him, but he didn't even need slipstream. You know, he's got 6 tenths of a second on his nearest competitor. Tom's biggest job now, if he wants to win this race, he has to break DRS. He has to. In the first 3 laps, if he does not break DRS, these guys will just sit with him. It doesn't matter how fast you are. These guys are in the same division, so they have got the pace to keep with him, and they're not going to go anywhere, especially with the DRS trains and the slipstream that is capable around here. So Tom's main job is to get a very good start off the line, try and disrupt Sassy in second place and take off. If he doesn't do that, he's going to be not just under pressure from the guys behind, he's going to be under pressure for the guys starting on the mediums, and especially the guys like Paco and Jared, who I imagine are starting on the hards, because that strategy is a joke around here.
As, of course, Tom Jewell taking pole position, his second pole of the season, ahead of Adrian Villarreal, who's well used to being on the front row. Alan Wagner in third, Thiago and fourth, both of them fighting for the win last week out. And then it's Tim, Marcel, Sean, Adam, Louis Quinlan, Adrian Lennon, and then Kieran, Dominic, Reese March, Paco and Jared outside of the top 10.
Yeah, very smart from the Renaults. I'm quite impressed with these two. Actually, I gave Jared a bit of a pep talk on Discord after the penalty decision came through. Whether it's right or wrong, the decision has been made of 10 seconds. I disagreed personally, but my opinion doesn't matter because I'm not a steward. But yeah, it's going to be a big mountain to climb for Jared. But I think he's made the right call. He sat back. He wants to stay out of trouble, and he wants to do this alternate strategy and get up the field, which I commend him for, because he's in a title fight at the end of the day, and having a penalty of 10 seconds is very, very damaging to his season. So I hope his controller's fixed for today, so there won't be any more issues. And I'm very, very curious to see where these Renaults end up, because I'm going to bank that both of them, if they can keep it on the circuit, are going to finish in the podium places. That's how confident I am.
Well, yeah, very confident in the two Renaults. Of course, should be a hard medium from them. Of course, maybe a bit of rain, we don't know, but looking pretty sunny right now here in France, so yeah, I think it's going to be smooth sailing without the rain.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be very smooth sailing. Just for everybody at home, if we haven't gone over it already, the guys starting on the softs, they'll probably pit, I'd say latest lap 9, earliest lap 7. If they go any earlier than that, as we saw in F1, the tyres don't make it. The hards do not last. You even struggle on pitting on lap 7. But it's normally soft hard, so pit around a lap 7, then pit for hards, then to the end of the race. If they start on the mediums, I'd say around lap 13, 14, so they'd go medium hard, and hards to the end of the race. And obviously if they're on the alternate strategy, they'd be hards until about lap, I'd say 17, 18, 17 roughly, and then stick on a fresh set of mediums to the end of the race. If they want to do hard soft, they can, but there's no point, because the mediums are very, very quick around here, and obviously a lot better than worn hards. So going to be very interesting, regardless. Hopefully Tom doesn't pull away, so we can sort of have a close battle for the lead at the start. But my predictions for top 3, I'm going to give Tom, I think Tom will win, just because he has got that extra few tenths on the rest of the field. But I'm going to back the two, actually no, I'm going to back one Renault. I'm going to back Jared for a P2, and then I'm going to back Alan Wagner for P3. That's my prediction. What about you, Kevin? What are you thinking?
Well, I think the same winner as Tom Jewell. The extra few tenths got to count for something, and I think he's got a bit of a point to prove, as he has gone winless this season. I'm sure he's going to be wanting a win under his belt. He has got a podium here and there. For P2, I'm going to put Adrian. I think it's just going to stay as it is, and the third one, like, you can put Jared, but he also is down the field. Maybe incidents that he could get caught up in. I think I'm going to go with Kieran for third. Kieran Spears from 11th to third.
Fair enough, fair enough. I imagine everybody outside the top 10 will start on hard tyres. I'll just check that for you.
Not everyone. That's Dominic and the two Renaults on the hards. Everyone else on the mediums. And of course, Adrian Lennon, well, he qualied on the mediums, so he's going to be able to stay on the mediums in 10th.
Very interesting, starting on the mediums, because effectively you're sort of wasting your best tyre at the start. So, very interesting from these guys. But yeah, as you can see, I will look further down the grid, see if there is any mix-up or incidents. But take us away, Kevin, for the start of the French Grand Prix here at Paul Ricard.
Of course, Tom Jewell on pole position. The Haas in second. He's going to want a good... Well, he's going to want a good run off the line. As we're going to wait for the thing to update. Here we go. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix. And it's the lights out, and away we go. And it looks like the Haas has actually got a better start side by side and actually ahead of Tom Jewell. Tom Jewell having not too good of a start. He's going to have to slot into second place. The AlphaTauri there on the inside. I think that's Tim Bruce Dalens in the background trying to make up a place. And actually there's Alan Wagner round down to last place there. He's been spun, I'm not sure on who. Maybe Marcel getting involved in a little bit of an incident there, as it looks like. Actually, well, maybe not. He's gone down a little bit.
The Alfa Romeo's round in the first sector as well, hitting the barrier. I don't know if he's got wing damage, but it looks like he is out of this race as well. The two Renaults having a bit of a tentative start. They're sticking with the pack as chaos ensues, as Kieran is going to make a move on Marcel, who's definitely dropped off the front, and Kieran's up to 8th on mediums. He might even have a go at Louis. Louis Quinlan into the chicane, no, chooses not to, but a fantastic start and a fast start from this McLaren.
Yeah, and something in the top, of course, two Haas's versus two AlphaTauris right now. Tim Brusain's able to make up the places to put himself in third. Of course, the McLaren of Adam Wagner having a little bit of an incident, but it's looking all too similar to last week. Of course, you take out McLaren's, add in AlphaTauris, and you have pretty much the very same situation, actually flipped at the same time. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight between the two teams as Tom Jewell gets ever closer to the back of Adrian Villarreal. He's not going to let him go easily.
Yeah, it looks like Adam was having a look on Sean there. Sean very slow for the penultimate corner. I don't know if Adam's going to have a move now. He's got the traction. Oh, a bit late on the traction there. as we see moves being made at the final corner. I think Alan Wagner went for a move on Jared as Paco looks like he's going to breeze past Reece March on the hards. Paco Suarez on them hard tyres are keeping up with these guys on the medium and softs. So, like I said, the alternate strategy is absolutely ridiculous around here. You just got to be careful of penalties. It is quite easy just to slip up around this track, but it seems very orderly. And I'm seeing a second gap between, is that Tim and Tom? So Tim really just needs to get a move on. You can't lose DRS around here or you're going to be at risk.
Yeah, he's just about hanging on there. I think the gap is about 8, 9 tenths, so he's trying at least, as Thiago is going to be on his back as well, up the gearbox. Certainly of the other AlphaTauri, it's going to kind of be a fight between the two teams for these podium places. Doesn't look like anything going to be changing to... well, is that Jared Fosbury you were looking at there?
Yeah, sorry, having a bit of a moment. Was Alan Wagner trying to go around the outside into the chicane, but Jared defends very, very well, but you don't want to be scrapping. Alan Wagner, I imagine, does want to get past Jared because he is in the hards, but Jared isn't slow by any means. He's just cost both of them a lot of time, and if Jared can't get in the DRS, then these two are just going to fall off the back of everybody. So Alan Wagner just needs to, take a bit of a breath. He's had a bit of a spin early on. He's still in this race, though. Just take a bit of a breather. And get back focused. Don't go for any stupid dive bombs because he is really trying to get past Jared. Maybe a bit too aggressive from these early stages.
Yeah, maybe, of course, Jared Fosbury is looking at a championship. He also has a 10-second penalty. He really doesn't need to be losing any more time than he has to. Someone else who doesn't need to be, and isn't really, Adrian Villarreal. He's been leading this race. He got the better start compared to Tom Jewell. Tom Jewell maybe almost lost an extra place, but he was kind of lucky to get away with how bad of a start he had, or at least from what I could tell how bad of a start he had. But right up the back of him there, Tom Jewell on the back of the Haas has a little bit of a lock up as well as they go and approach the back straight.
Jared, there's contact. Jared's round, and it's Alan Wagner with Jared. Oh, I said I didn't see it fully. From what happened, I just caught the glimpse of the end of the move, but Alan Wagner just forcing it up the inside on Jared, and I think he's just completely lost it, or maybe made a bit of contact, and Jared now is not in DRS and probably has no hope of keeping up with these guys on them set hard. So an absolutely terrible start to the French Grand Prix for Jared Fosbury.
Yeah, at least for his sake, he doesn't have any wing damage, so he will be able to make up the time once his tires are better than those softs. But looking at it though, 14th place, the next soft runner being Alan Wagner. Once he passes him, most of them are in the top 8, and that's a few overtakes to be made on tires from people who are going to be holding up a lot better, as we see the top 2 again as they're going to exit the final corner, as pretty much they did since the start of this race. As Tom Jewell's going to be following closely to the back of that Haas. I think he's going to be looking for a move as early as he can, as you can see closing up into turn 1, but he's not able to close up quite enough, but he's clearly got more pace.
Yeah, Tim needs to keep... He wasn't in DRS down the start-finish straight, and Thiago was, so he really needs to get this gap back down, because if he can't keep this DRS, the two ahead of him are just going to bolt away, and he's going to be really vulnerable as Adam goes up the inside of Sean, going into the long left-hander, and a fantastic move from the Alfa Romeo. And look at Louis Quinlan. Louis Quinlan really sniffing the back of the Williams. He's that close. He might have a run down the straight as well. He's got low fuel and a lot of ERS to burn. Yeah, and Sean's got
for
3%.
Third place though, Thiago is closing up to the back of Tim. He's going to get very close, actually, in the braking zone as well, but he's not going to be close enough for it. Actually, in the background.
Kevin, I've got to interrupt you. It's going to be a double move. It's going to be a double move from Louis Quinlan. He's going to get squeezed on the outside onto the curb. Sean gets absolutely mugged into the chicane. He's got no ERS and no fuel. Louis Quinlan went for a double overtake into the chicane. Adam, luckily, had the space on the inside to cover him off. But fantastic driving from Louis Quinlan. If he can keep making decisions like this, hopefully he can catch up with the guys ahead and maybe get some DRS. But at the moment, 2-second gap just from scrapping this tiny bit around Paul Ricard.
Yeah, and of course on the back of this... Oh, actually round Louis Quinlan. Was that damage for Kieran Spears? No, it wasn't. It was actually the Mercedes of Louis Quinlan. He actually lost it going out of, I think it's turn 11 or 12 it's called. It is actually turn 12 that he lost it out of, and there you go, he's in the pits as well to Mercedes. Yeah, he is. So he's going to have to get a wing change pit a little bit earlier than he wanted to. It's not too bad for Kieran though. He's up to 6 now on those mediums, and he's getting ever closer to that top 4, of course, 2 seconds away from Adam Corrigan.
Yeah, also Sean in the pits as well. The Williams, no damage for him. I think he's doing a 2-stop. He's actually pitted for the medium, so very strange strategy for him. But let's see if it pays off. 2-stop's not too bad if people are holding others up, but like I say, it's just a big DRS fest around this track, and as you can see, Paco
and I
Suarez,
think Tom Jewell is actually going to be making a move now. He's closing on the back of the Haas, and he's going to be going to the inside side by side between the two. Tom Jewell's been looking for this move pretty much the entire race, and he's going to be able to get it up into P1. He's going to make that move. Adrian Villarreal down to P2. Tom Jewell must be happy with that, as he's going to be able to push on now using that extra pace, and also Thiago on the inside of Timber Stains as well. Moves being made for pretty much both of the podium places. Still side by side, I think Tom Jewell's, or Timber Stains I should say, trying to keep it in there, but he's not able to, and he's going to have to concede to Thiago, and Thiago up into P3.
Yeah, fantastic. Thiago had to get the move done. Tim is just too slow at this stage. He's lost DRS to the guys ahead. Thiago's got so much more pace in that Haas. It's obviously going to be difficult to try and close the gap if these two aren't fighting. And Tom Jewell, a long time coming. It's lap 5 and he's only just got the move done. So Tom left it a bit late, but he has got it done eventually. Can he pull away from the Haas? Let's see. And can Thiago catch back up to this pack? Because obviously Tim's going to have the DRS now. But these guys really do love burning the ERS. Thiago 13%, Tim's only on 18%.
Oh, is that a move?
Guys behind
that is actually
more,
moved. So. Marcel is going side by side with the... Oh, well, actually a little bit of contact as well, getting a little bit too... maybe a little bit too annoyed there, trying to make a move on the... Well, I almost said Force India, on the racing point, I should say. As they're going through the first few corners in the first sector. Marcel's actually lost the rear end, though. So it might allow Adrian Lennon to come back at him here, as he's going to be opening up DRS, approaching the chicane. I think there's a move up ahead, though. It is actually Kieran Spears getting ahead of Adam Corrigan. Adam Corrigan looking down the inside, but not able to.
Oh my god, Paco's taken 2 in 1. There's no way Marcel defends this. Oh, Marcel, that is, yeah, good. Goodbye. See you later, sunshine. Yeah, that's what you get for being dirty. Marcel decides to ram Paco off the track into the chicane and spins himself. So, a bit of karma there for Marcel. Really, really dirty from him. Paco keeps the position, but he is under pressure from the racing point. It was going to be a fantastic double move. I don't know what happened above. Was it Kieran getting past Adam, you were saying, Kevin?
Yeah, that was Kieran Spears, of course, on the mediums, up into P5, and, well... You can see the, well, at least the battle for third is they're kind of separated now. I was actually into the pits, Adrian Villarreal. I'm getting very confused with the names today for some reason, but yeah, the Haas of Adrian Villarreal, the championship leader, into the pits on lap 7. Of course, it seems a pretty scheduled stop. It's Marcel again.
Oh,
that's no, it wasn't. It looked like he was in the pits as well, but no, unluckily not. So looks like an undercut attempt at Tom Jewell. Of course, Tom Jewell did make the move, so now it's going to be all down to this outlap here to see how quick or how much quicker he can go compared to Tom Jewell's softs. He's got clean air as well.
Yeah, not too sure what it is.
And Marcel's going to retire from the race.
Yeah, not too sure what it is about this league. He started doing donuts on the pit entry, so I don't know why. For some reason, these guys have such a bad race that they lose the head and start doing donuts in the middle of the track. I have no idea. But he has retired in the pit lane. Who is the other Red Bull? I don't think he does have a teammate, so that's good for them.
Not today. He's not here today.
That's fine, as long as it doesn't get anybody else stuck, because I think he was actually stuck in his pit box, so that would have affected his teammate crucially. But just going back to the actual racing, Paco having to claw back the time to get DRS, and he is closing in on Adam in 5th place, so that's very good from him. Kieran closing up to the back of Tim and Thiago, which is crucial for the race as well. The mediums really come into play now. These softs are going to die. I would pit this lap personally. I don't know why you'd go any further.
Yeah, Tom Jewell in.
Lap 7, 8 is where you want to come, and yep, especially if you're on wheel, pit this lap. But big advantage. But let's see where Tom comes out. I imagine he'll concede the lead, but he'll be right on the back of the Haas. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get jumped. But Tom Jewell in the pit lane.
Adrian Villarreal is going to be suffering a little bit from some dirty air off the Alfa Romeo. He's actually going to get a little bit of DRS assistance and slipstream going down the start finish straight. We'll see Tom Jewell, I'm sure, on the left hand side, and yeah, actually he is going to be able to get ahead, and the other undercut working as he's going to be getting ahead, and yeah, a car between the two as well. Only just though, almost contact in turn 2.
Yeah, it was a slight bit of contact. I thought Sassy didn't do anything wrong. It was actually a really nice move as Tim gets breezed past by Kieran on the mediums and DRS supplied. As Jared, he's not actually out of this race. Like I said, the alternate strategy isn't too bad. He's only about 5 seconds off his teammate Paco after having that incident earlier in the race. So Jared really picking up the pieces from what was a very interesting start.
Yeah, and here goes Tom Jewell on the Alfa Romeo. Or, well, he was actually looking down the inside. But not enough overspeed. Is a little bit of a correction there for Dominic Hurley, I'm sure, out of the chicane as he's going off the track. That's definitely a warning that he just kind of gave himself there. Sure. As Tom Jewell's going to still try and close up.
Tom needs to get this guy out the way. Tom really does need to get this guy out the way. He's holding him up. So I don't know. He's got loads of ERS. I don't know why Tom isn't using it. Tom Jewell really does need to get out of the way, as obviously the other soft runners coming to the pit lane now. Yeah,
it looks like Dominic Hurley isn't doing too well with the curbs. Every time he touches them, it seems like he just loses his car a little bit. Of course, on the hards as well, he's going to be going a lot longer than this, so Tom Jewell really is going to have to clear him now. Out of the final corner, it looks like he's had a much better exit. I think now, finally, he's going to be able to make the move. DRS in activation and side by side between the two, but I think a little bit of overspeed from that Alpha Tauri. He is, as he's up into 7th place, of course, net P2 for Tom Jewell, and he's going to have to get back a gap to Adrian Villarreal. 1.5 seconds and no DRS for Tom Jewell.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why Tom, on the other straight, didn't clear the Alfa Romeo. He had 65% ERS, he had DRS down the straight, and he just sort of let him keep the position. And I know Tom's got probably an extra few tenths on Adrian ahead of him, but it's just making it harder than it should be. You should have just gone straight past down the straight, use your ERS, and then you've got DRS and you can save it behind Sassy. But for whatever reason, Tom likes to make things difficult, as the only person in DRS range is Adam on a Tim. So Adam's actually done quite
Jared
well.
Fosbury is also in DRS range of Reese March, don't forget. Of course, this is a fight for P4. Reese March on the mediums. The mediums are going to be going off a little bit now. Of course, 8 laps on them. The hards should be doing just fine, as they can go ages into this race. As maybe Jared Fosbury going to be looking at a move as Reese March goes very wide there out of the penultimate corner of turn 14. And I think Jared Fosbury, with a little bit of DRS assistance as well, he's going to be following the Mercedes, but I don't think he's actually quite close enough. Going into turn 1, he's going to look at it, maybe try and spook him into kind of giving them the position, but Reese March isn't going to take it, and he's going to stay ahead. Jared Fosbury going to have to stick behind for another sector at least.
Yep, Tim is trying to claw back the DRS that he's lost to Thiago, but Tim, like I say, just not on the pace today. Couldn't keep with the front guys, and looks like he's lost a lot to Thiago as well. So Adam, as he misses the apex into turn 1, and probably gets a corner cut warning for turn 2 as well. But he's catching Tim, and I imagine he'll pass Tim either down this straight on this lap or on the next lap. But, you know, here we go. Sean as well, coming on the back of this Alfa Romeo, as there's Reese March getting passed by Jared. We knew that was coming, nice and easy with DRS, so let's just go on board with the Alfa Romeo. And Sean in P9, he should easily breeze past him, even though Sean never has any ERS for some reason. He's got 0%.
Looks like it's not going to stop him from trying though. We're on the outside. Of course, this is fresh mediums actually, or fresh enough mediums versus Dom's Hearts, who he's also really not responding to quite well, as of course Thiago, watching these two, kind of has to sit behind, as Sean's not going to be able to make this overtake. Of course, no ERS assistance for him, so really not doing himself any favours. Is actually he's going to hit the back of him and crash here. I'm not sure if Thiago got any damage from that. I don't think he did. He was just about lucky there as to not. But now Adam Corrigan down the inside of the Haas all of a sudden. You remember that Haas had a little bit of a gap to guys behind. Now, well, both Alfa Romeos ahead, but of course Dominic Hurley's going to be ahead after he had to do some avoiding action. So, yeah, Tom Jewell and Adrian Villarreal really going for this win now. It doesn't really look like anyone else is quite close enough. As actually out comes Kieran Spears side by side with Adam Corrigan, maybe. It is going to be side by side, but he's not able to be enough alongside. Maybe cold tires as well, not going to be helping him out, but he's going to have DRS going down that start, well, not start finish, the back straight, I should say. So I guess we'll see how well this McLaren can do on these fresh hards.
Yeah, crazy from Sean. No ERS, bit clumsy, just hits the back of the Alfa Romeo, spins himself out and the Alfa Romeo. But look at this battle now down the straight. Kieran,
yeah, and I think
got to get past him, and he's got to help his teammate as well.
DRS assistance for himself as well, and yeah, it's a very
yeah.
very
Look at
easy
Adam
move.
as well. Adam straight behind. Look at this. He's gonna move out the way, teammate. Get out of his way. You're not on the same strategy. If I was the team principal, I'd be saying get out of the way. Hold the other people up for me, because that man is not on the same strategy at all. He needs to be out of the way as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and then there goes Thiago as well. Yeah, Dominic Curdy losing quite a few positions in the last few corners. Of course, losing 3 positions unless he can do anything on the outside. No, he's going to go way off the track. And Sean is also going to be allowed to go down the inside. He's going to have a look around the outside maybe as well, or maybe a bit of a switchback as the Haas up ahead. Thiago going a little bit wide there, a little bit wider than you would expect. But no positions lost for him, as you can see. For Dominic Curdy going really wide again. He's really not doing so well with these hards.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
or maybe
trying
the
not to
setup
break
or a combination at least. But yeah, Sean is going to be able to get past, and now here comes Alan Wagner as well. He's going to be looking maybe around the outside, but he's going to have to stick behind for now. And I think Dominic Curley is going to be losing another place. If you remember, he was at the head of this train.
Tim! Oh my god, sorry, I've just seen Tim completely ram Lewis Wise. Was it Lewis Wise?
Louis Quinlan.
Is this an incident? Louis Quinlan,
yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on. He's Lewis Wise, I raced with him. As well, Alan Wagner's been caught up in another incident, he's spin around. Tim's completely rammed the Mercedes off the track and made him cut the corner. And he's now got a corner cutting penalty of 5 seconds for gaining a position, nothing he did do. And obviously, Dominic, as you were saying earlier, I didn't want to break character. Just seems a bit of a roadblock hazard around France, to be honest with you. Still hasn't made a pit stop.
Yeah, and if you remember this very moment in last lap, he was in 7th. Now he's 11th, so...
Yeah, it's definitely
really
not
lost
his day
a
at
lot
the
of
office.
positions.
But just saying as well, you've got to keep an eye. Obviously, Tom and Sassy just training each other, going to be doing that to the end of the race. You've got to keep an eye on Paco, who is going to pit this lap for a fresh set of mediums, I believe. Or, no, who's in the pits? Oh, no, sorry, it's the Racing Point in the pits for a fresh set of hards.
The Racing Point, and also the Mercedes of Reece March is going to be following him in. Jared Fosbury is going to continue. So now the two Renaults who started on the back row of the grid very much, they are now leading a 1-2. But of course, they are yet to pit in terms of seconds, about 8 seconds, and then 14 to Paco. So actually, Paco might have put himself very much in the running for the lead of this race, because those fresh mediums are going to do him wonders. He's going to come out certainly behind Tom Joe, but I think he might be able to go out ahead of, as I'll get up the leader, 20 seconds to Adam Corrigan. So he's going to come out around this battle for 5th place. But if he can just go ahead a little bit more, just, use a little bit more fuel, maybe a bit more ERS as well. He actually doesn't have too much, but if he can and rely on them fighting a little bit, if he goes
down
out
the inside,
fifth,
down the straight on Adam, look at this. Just breezes past him. Loads of ERS deployment for Thiago. Really wants to get the move done, but Adam round the outside. He's going to be left some room. Will he get the traction? He's going to be all over that curb, is Thiago, but brilliant driving from these two and a fantastic move from Thiago.
Yeah, and it looks like the overspeed from that Haas is going to help him through to kind of solidify his position in 6th place. Adam Corrigan's going to try and close back up, but it's not going to be enough. So yeah, Paco Suarez basically, he should come out around 5th. If he's going to come out in 5th, I think it's kind of a done deal, as long as he can make the overtakes on Tom and Adrian. I mean, he's at least in the running. He does have a penalty though. You do have to take that into account.
Well, it's a shame Jared spun, because I imagine the Renault strategy was to slipstream one another. Obviously, at this stage of the race, they were waiting to get some clean air, but obviously Jared had a bit of contact earlier, some silly manoeuvres from a few drivers, and Jared got caught up in it. And obviously, he's lost 5 seconds to Paco. So it's a bit unfortunate for the Renault boys. He had a very nice strategy. Obviously, like I said, the alternate strategy is so good. These hard runners, everybody's on hards right now, apart from a few guys who are doing either a 2-stop. Well, they must be doing 2-stop because they're not making it to the end of the race. But everybody's going to be doing the similar lap times. It's all about eking out the hard tyres for the guys who have pitted from the softs. But the guys ahead can just burn these hard tyres. They can go as fast as they want, whenever they want. Really, really degrade these tyres and put the maximum amount of effort into every lap. And then they're going to have fresh mediums for the end of the race, which are going to be so much quicker than dead hards. So these guys in first, they may not be immediate threats at the moment, but these Renault guys definitely ones to watch out for, like I said earlier.
Yeah, they're certainly going to be bringing themselves into the fight. Of course, a fight that we have at the moment. Tom Jewell still falling behind Adrian. It looks like maybe he's doing a little bit of strategy here to try and just stick behind. Of course, he has the better tires as well. As something
yeah, sorry,
happened.
there's a bit of contact between the Williams and the Racing Point in 8th and 9th as we see
and
a
actually,
battle
side
behind
by
as well.
side, Dominic Hurley and Louis Quinlan. Louis Quinlan trying to make a move. Of course, down the inside, lunges it down the inside, and he's actually been tapped a little bit. Tried to find the space, just couldn't do it, and well, he's going to have to stick behind this roadblock, as you put it. It is pretty much a roadblock at this point, as they go through the penultimate corner. Again, going so wide, though. He goes wide and loses the car in so many places. Like, there you go again, losing the rear, so he's not responded well to whatever setup he has on, or the hards, or a combination, or whatever, like I said earlier. So, yeah, there goes Louis Quinlan on the outside, and, well, we'll see how well he can do if he can make this move, as he's not going to be able to, though.
Teammates
And
will have
actually,
him in a minute.
yeah, the teammates are going to be fighting now a little bit, as I do know they communicate with each other, so I guess he's been let through by his teammate. Of course, Reece March on the better tyres at the moment, very fresh hards. And
Tom
Dominic
Jewell
Hurley
is
continues.
past Sassy, crucially. Obviously, these guys are just going to be chopping and changing position. One will be farming ERS, the other will be farming when they're behind each other. As we see Adam Corrigan and Tiago going neck and neck. Oh, bit of contact through the chicane. It seems like Tiago's best passing manoeuvre as there's more contact down the straight as well. These two really going hammer and tongs for 6th and 7th at the moment, but Adam Corrigan having to submit at the moment.
Yeah, and he's going to go through turn 11. He's going to certainly have to settle in for a P7 at the moment. There's another, well, actually not another, but Louis Quinlan now making the move on Dominic Hurley after his teammate seemingly did it. And, well, there's been contact, and you can see there both cars off. And it looks like Timbersane's almost actually was able to make a move, but he wasn't able to, and he's going to have to stick behind Dominic Hurley, like other people have had to do. I'm sure no one's really enjoyed it, as Paco is into the pit lane. So we're going to go on to this as he exits the pit lane now. He's going to be pretty much where I said he would, just behind that fight for P5. He's going to be side by side, I think, with the Racing Point as going through turn 1. He's going to swoop round, and of course the fresh medium certainly helping him out. So into 7th place. He's got a few cars to overtake, but he's got much fresher tyres now. So we'll see how well Paco can do now. Of course, he started second last, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, second last, 14th. Jared obviously last. Yeah, Tiago will be having a run on Kieran, I imagine, at some point. Should be an easy move if he uses ERS and DRS. Let's see if Kieran responds. I don't think he will. I think he'll just allow it to happen if it does happen. Yeah, Kieran should just allow the move to happen. But no, I think he's going to fight it, actually, around the outside. Kieran does maintain dominance of the corner. Does take the inside line, and Tiago's going to have to wait another lap to get past. But yeah, just going back to... Or will he, though?
Because he's going to be using... Or, well, he's not actually going to be using a little bit of ERS, but a bit of slipstream is going to allow him to actually close up, and he is going to be maybe going for another move into turn 11, kind of like Dominic did a few moments ago, but it didn't go quite as well. He had to back out of it there. So he's going to have to settle in for his P5.
As Paco as well on the inside of Adam, already on the back of Adam. He's going to go around the outside of the next corner. Adam's going to squeeze him as much as possible. Be careful, don't make contact. Fantastic move from Paco Suarez. Redemption day, as Daniel Ricciardo once said around Monaco. And it is Paco's redemption day. He's had a lot of criticism this season, Paco. He's not been motivated to race. He says he's not been on the pace. He just wants to focus on other things outside of Formula 1. But it looks like he's really focusing on his racecraft today.
Yeah, and
Paco
Thiago's actually down the inside once again of Kieran Spears. But this time I think he's going to be able to do it, as he's got much more dominance going through the corner. And there you go. He is now finally up into P3, where he was earlier. But of course he had an incident of his own, I think. Or a minor incident, but still an incident that lost him a little bit of time, which is why he's here. He should be a lot closer to that fight for the lead. So, yeah, good for him that he's back where he was before.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. As I was just saying
and
about
here comes Paco Suarez again, opening up DRS.
Yeah, he's had a lot of criticism this year, Paco. He won't get it done this time, because I think Kieran wants to try and get Tiago, but Paco's just going to sit there, save a bit of DRS and try and pick these guys off one by one. But look at the overspeed. He gets into the corner.
Kieran Spears, he's going to be on the outside, inside for the next little kink. It's not actually called a corner, but certainly they have to turn for it, as they're going to be going side by side now into the flat turn 10. The McLaren on the outside, the Haas on the inside. They're well used to seeing each other on track. Of course, last week in Austria is anything to go by. These cars were the ones fighting for the lead. Paco Suarez is going to have to hang back a little bit and kind of watch this to see what happens. And McLaren still trying it on the inside. He's got 2 lap fresher tires, so you would expect him to be able to come out on top, or at least eventually his hards would start making somewhat of a difference. But now Paco Suarez trying to make an impact still, but it's very difficult when they're going side by side pretty much every corner. It's a great battle to watch. Paco Suarez still is going to have to hang back. He's going to open up the DRS, but I don't think it's going to matter. He's still going to have to watch this fight. They've been fighting for almost a lap, these two, as the Haas is going to be on the outside, keeping it clean between the two as well. Going to be at the inside for the next corner, and actually a little bit of contact there. Kieran Spears is off. The racing point almost hits him there, of Adrian Lennon. He's down to 7th. I'm not sure if there was... I don't think there was anything meant by it, but a little bit of contact. Of course, Thiago was on the outside, then inside for the next corner, and, well, it's going to allow Paco Suarez to, you would expect, to make this move pretty easily with DRS.
Yep. All Paco had to do was wait. Like I said earlier, Paco Suarez.
Here he comes. He's on the gearbox. Thiago's going to actually defend to the right.
Easy down the straight. Fantastic from Paco. But like I said, he just had to wait. And there we go. He's done. He won't see that Haas for the rest of the race. And he's got 9 seconds to catch the guys ahead, which is easily doable. He's got 9 laps left of the race. These two obviously are just going to be slipstream DNRSing each other, like I said, from lap 1. Whoever comes out on top is anybody's guess at this moment in time. Maybe one of them should. I think Tom's tried with the lack of ERS. He's only got 40%, so I think Tom has actually tried to pull away from Sassy at some point, but Sassy's just kept within that DRS and saved his ERS as well. But yeah, just going back to Paco now, done and dusted. Thiago shouldn't be a problem for him. He's got such fresher tyres. He's going to the end of the race on the mediums, and job done. A podium in the bag for Paco. So redemption day for Paco Suarez.
Yeah, certainly is. It's going to be a confidence boost for him. Anyway, he does have that penalty, so even if he does catch, he's going to have to... Well, actually, there you go. Adrian Villarreal getting a penalty as well, following on the back of Tom Jewell. Jared Fosbury sets the fastest lap of the race. He'll be picking up an extra point as long as no one else takes it off him by the end of this race. But there you go, Adrian Villarreal picking up a penalty. Paco Suarez now has an opportunity to get second as long as he doesn't get any more penalties of his own. Adam Corrigan, yeah, he's a little bit off, kind of splitting up now. The racing point actually on the back of Adam Corrigan. That's Adrian Lynn. He's looking to the inside, seeing if there's a gap, but not quite close enough to be going down the inside. Cuts the corner a little bit. I think that may have been a warning, but exiting this chicane now, he's right on the back of Adam Corrigan. He has a little bit of ERS to use, so he might be able to be making a move as he goes quicker than his previous quickest Sector 2 as well. So he's certainly on a little bit of a push on these hards, quite late in the race as well. As Adam Corrigan goes a little bit wide, he's going to be closing up through turn 11, and it's going to be pretty much staying like that as he goes a little bit wide, trying to get a better exit actually going through the final few corners. So we'll see how this fight unfolds as we approach the start finish straight.
Yeah, sorry, it's just I had to run to get a drink, and my mouth was frothing for some fluid. It was dry as a camel's arse. So, very interesting description for myself. But yeah, just getting back into the action. Paco obviously gaining a lot of time. He'll probably be on the back of the
he's
train.
Actually 7 seconds off now.
He's getting a lot of time. I imagine he will catch Sassy at the end of the race. Like I said, these guys are going to be on a knife edge when it comes to tyre wear. So we see a pass Sean, I think, on Louis down there because he's pitted in P11. But yeah, Paco is going to be the entertainment for this evening, as he is on for a podium at this point. Whether it will be second or third is yet to be seen. Tom Jewell just can't get a penalty. If Tom Jewell gets a penalty, he's going to bring Paco into play like crazy. And Paco can smell the blood already. He's already heat-seeking out these drivers so far. He's even catching them a second per lap on average, and they've got DRS. That's how powerful these mediums are at the moment around this track. But I don't know what these guys can do. They're doing the best they can at the front. They've branched away from the pack. They've controlled the race from the front, both of these guys.
Oh, actually, I have to say, though, down the inside for Adrian Lennon, he's going to have the outside for what is turn 12. The Alfa Romeo and Racing Point finally getting a little bit of on-track action as he closes up, going through the penultimate corner. Adam Corrigan places his car beautifully, but he's going to actually be on the inside, so a little bit bad going through the penultimate corner. Goes a little bit wide for Adam Corrigan. He's still going to be able to keep this, but DRS now for Adrian Lennon. He's going to go on the outside for turn 1, going to give himself the inside for turn 2. Side by side between the two still. Might be an incident, as we've seen quite a few going through here, but they're going to keep it clean. Adrian's going to back out and make this move a little bit later, so sensible from Adrian Lennon, sensing that this overtake is certainly possible.
Yeah, very nice from these two.
And actually, Sean is... Oh yeah, that's a pit for Tim Staines, that's why.
Yeah, these two are going to be battling for the rest of the race. It's allowing Kieran, I don't think he is in DRS range yet, but he is allowing Kieran to catch these guys back up. So they just got to be careful. They don't allow.
Here comes
Kieran to come back.
Adrian Lennon once again. He's on the gearbox of Adam Corrigan. He's going to go to the inside, and I think this time he's a little bit more ahead. He's going to be able to kind of force his way through, and there you go, up into P5. But I don't think that's the end of it, though. Adam Corrigan's going to be on the back of him. He has a little bit of ERS to play with. I think he's going to be keeping it for now, for another opportunity maybe for DRS, like Adrian did there, going down the next lap as he closes up. But I think again, no, he's actually going to go for it. Not expected by me, certainly, but he's going to look to the inside, trying to lunge it up the inside. Maybe a bit of a switchback move for turn 12 as well, as Kieran Spears certainly, if he wasn't on the back before, he's on the back of this battle now, as Adrian is going to have to defend a little bit. Paco Suarez, by the way, 4.4 seconds off the leaders. On lap 22 out of 27. This fight, of course, very much up for grabs for any of these guys. Kieran, remember, doesn't actually have a penalty, so he'll be able to jump some.
It's a good watch, but it's silly. It really is silly, because they've allowed Jared and Kieran to get involved. So I don't really know what they're playing at, to be honest. It's good entertainment for us guys, but they should have just let each other go on the straight. Adam, I thought he was playing it smart by allowing the Racing Point to just overtake him down the straight and then, you know, follow him for the rest of the lap. But they've allowed Kieran back in, and they've also, crucially, allowed Jared on fresh mediums back in. So they've really put themselves at risk.
Yeah, and Adam Corrigan actually seemed to have a pretty bad exit there, as the McLaren is going to be on the back of him. He's going to defend. He's going to kind of, well, he's going to kind of jerk his car to the right there a little bit, kind of a bit sudden there. But it's going to be still side by side. He's going to keep the position as well, actually. The McLaren not able to make it, but I'm sure now going down this straight he's going to get a little bit of slipstream, but Adam Corrigan seemingly using a bit of ERS.
Yeah, just saying, he actually pushed him into a penalty, so Kieran now has a 3-second time penalty, because obviously Adam rammed him off the track, and that is exceeding track limits, and that's pushed, you know, Kieran over the edge for a 3-second penalty. So that's even more crucial, because Jared's going to get all 3 of these anyway, even if he doesn't overtake them, as Tim on fresh softs. Looks like he's taking... Oh my god, that Dominic's using cars as braking boards at this point. Dominic just needs to relax, okay? He's not had the best of races, but when you're using cars as braking boards, that's not a good idea.
Side by side though, Jared Fosbury and the McLaren in turn 1. Jared Fosbury, of course, trying to make this move. Don't forget, he does have a 10-second penalty to deal with as well, so he's not really going to be able to get ahead of these guys, but certainly I think he's okay for behind him, so I think his 8th is at least secure to some degrees. He's going to be trying to close up to the McLaren, not able to at this point. And actually, the Racing Point up ahead has very much broken DRS, so clearly a justified move there to break the DRS and go kind of into the distance.
Yeah, people have got to be careful on their tyres, and Paco Suarez is 2.7 behind the leading guys now. This is crucial. Sassy especially, because he pitted a lap before Tom, has got to keep these tyres in peak condition. For whatever reason, Tom's tried to branch away and is using some ERS. Sassy has 92%.
Oh, down the inside again. It's Kieran Spears on Adam Corrigan. It's been like this before, but this time it's going to be a little bit more of a kind of dominant move, I guess, if you want to put it like that. And there you go, Kieran Spears up into P6. Adam Corrigan trying to come back at him here, but I don't think he's going to be able to, no, as he's going to have to slap behind. Jared Fosbury now kind of next up in line to pass Adam.
Yeah, a bit unlucky for Jared. Obviously, because he's got such a train of cars,
yeah,
he struggles to overtake
he's
them.
Going to be closing Adam Corrigan, though. You're talking about overtaking and down the inside for Jared Fosbury, but he's got to be careful, though. There's been incidents going through this corner as he's going to upset Adam Corrigan's line, try and get a bit of a switch back on for turn 2, but not able to do it, so he's going to have to stick behind a little bit longer. But it seems like Adam Corrigan doesn't quite have the pace. It's 1.5 seconds now, Paco Suarez. We're going to have to be kind of watching this battle a little bit more. I'm sure the top 2 are kind of picking up the pace as they're realising how quick the Renault is. As you can see in the background, that Renault visually very, very close now, and he's only getting closer.
And I did say the alternate strategy. Just imagine if Jared hadn't spun. It would have been both of them up there. Obviously, Jared tried struggling to get past these guys because when there's such a big train, it's so hard to get past people because they're all just in the same sort of loop.
Yeah, Adam Corrigan actually got back past Kieran Spears, but Kieran Spears again going to be going for the move. Of course, this is 13 versus 16 lap old tyres. In the background, Jared Fosbury on his 7 lap old mediums. Really, he should be able to make the move, but he's not going for it. I mean, he doesn't really have to because of the penalty that he has. I guess he's going to secure his P8 and make a move if it's absolutely on, but actually, well, there you go. Paco Suarez in the DRS. I think this is the bigger fight now.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Adam and Kieran. They have put on a good show for us, but they're not really making any progress, to be honest. They're going backwards more than anything, so it's good entertainment for us guys, but it's definitely not what you want to be watching, because I think Jared, I think this will be the last time we stay on board with these guys before the main fight ahead. Kieran is going to defend, but Adam's going to go down the inside. Jared's got a lovely view of it again as Kieran defends it well, as Adam gets pushed wide, and Jared Fosbury, come on, keep your foot down, Jared. Keep your foot down. You've got to get past him. Good. Jared Fosbury finally gets past Adam on them set of mediums, and I know there's only 2.5 laps remaining, but if Jared can get past Kieran down this straight, he can pull a bit of a gap and reduce that 10-second buffer that he has got. Remember, these guys all have penalties. I'm not too sure how many, because I'm not going to check, to be honest, because I can't be asked. But if he gets past Kieran now, he could definitely pull away from these guys and reduce that deficit and maybe get an even higher position. So Jared, he's not going to go for it. I think he had to go for it there. I think in the position that he's in, he had to go for it. Maybe down this straight, but it's only ERS that he's got to use, and he's not going to burn it by the looks of it. So Jared is stuck. But I imagine you want to talk about the front guys, because Paco Suarez, as I said, he's on the back of them.
Yeah, as you can see, so much more grip as you, just got a glimpse of it at least, under braking those mediums. So much better than these hards. And of course, he's going to have to gap Tom Jewell. Looks a little bit of a tall order for the win, but certainly P2 is on the cards as he's going to be closing up to the back of Adrian Villarreal. Adrian has been following basically Tom Jewell as well for most of this race. Tom Jewell hasn't been able to gap him. He did gap him at points, but that undercut kind of reduced that deficit, and well, it's kind of been like this for a while. As actually Adrian Villarreal, I think he's trying to make a move now. He's realising that Paco Suarez is here, and he's going to be trying to protect his P2 now, because this is a fight for P2 between the Renault and the Haas. He used a little bit of ERS approaching turn 5, I think it is, or turn 4 or 5, around there, but he wasn't able to do it as Paco Suarez now on the back of the Haas. The Haas is going to be able to open up that DRS flap. Lap 26 out of 27, remember, so they've got one more lap after this. Tom Jewell still leading. He's going to close up to Tom Jewell, but is not able to make any headway, kind of. Not able to go down the inside or anything.
Look at the ERS usage from this Haas. It's crazy. He's got it. Tom, just let him go. Tom has to let him go. There's no point fighting this. He's got no ERS to defend with, and Tom is in prime time position for the race win. Just take care of your tyres, Tom. You have this race in the bag. Sassy had to make the move, and that's going to be crucial for second place. Sassy doing what he has to do to maintain that second place. Whether his tyres will last to the end, I'm not even sure. It's going to come to the final lap to see what Paco can do. Tom, will he let Paco pass to have a go at Sassy? Remember, Sassy is in the title fight, and Paco's going to go for it on the final corner. Oh, go on. Paco's going to keep it in there and keep Tom in the dust. He had to do it. Paco Suarez is a man possessed at the moment. He really wants this second place. Third is not enough. It's redemption day, as I've kept saying throughout this race for Paco Suarez. He just needs to stay in the DRS. He's got the grip. He's got the ERS, and just manage your fuel, Paco. Manage your fuel. You got to get in that DRS, though. Just be careful, because it's getting a bit tight now.
Just outside of the DRS range. Back in it, though. 8/10. Of course, he's going to need a very good exit out of turn 6 and, well, 7 as well. as they're going to be opening up DRS, but it looks a little bit too far away unless he can get it out of the chicane. He's going to have to use this to close up. Tom Jewell looks out of the picture now. If he doesn't get any more pens, he will be picking up this race win, but Paco Suarez now going through the chicane. No more penalties, it seems, between these two, so it is an all-out fight, but it's a bit too much. 9/10 the gap, and I think that has played that quite well. He did save quite a bit of ERS, and now I think he's going to be able to take it, and actually he's gapped that much. I think he was planning to try and beat Tom Jewell. We'll try and see 1.8 seconds, so not quite enough, but I think he planned to try and gap the 3 seconds there, as he got it to almost 2. But
yeah, and as you're going to say, Paco put up the best fight of his life.
Around the penultimate corner for Adrian Villarreal, and now the final corner, so he's going to be able to cross the line in first, but Paco Suarez behind him, he's going to drop to third. It's not going to be Adrian taking the win, it's Tom Jewell to cross the line, and he's going to take his first win here in IRL F2. Of course, it's going to be a very, very sweet win. He's led most of this race, played it pretty much perfectly, let the two in front of him pass when he had to, and he's came away with the win. Of course, Adrian Villarreal in second. Paco couldn't get that second place that he wanted so desperately, but it was a great end to the race. Paco Suarez really throwing a spanner in the works in the end. I'm sure the top two would have rathered him not to be there, but that's it. Tom Jewell, your winner.
Just saying, Jared, I know that was a 10-second penalty that will be applied, but he finished 5th. He actually beat the Racing Point, who had so many penalties, so Jared, unfortunately, if he having that penalty, was a bit of a shame for him, to be honest, because he drove a very good race in the alternate strategy, even with the spin earlier, but wow, that's what you call a race around France. You know, there was unnecessary overtakes, there was necessary overtakes, there was fast laps, there was slow laps, but out of all of that, Tom Jewell takes a very, very well fought win. He controlled the race from start to finish, really. He knew what he was doing, and as soon as Sassy put his nail in his coffin, which was the 3-second penalty, it was all down to Tom. As he just, well, I don't know what that dance is, to be honest with you, on the podium, but he will take his first win of the season, and a well deserved one, to be fair to Tom. It's been a fantastic watch.
Yeah, of course, it's Tom Jewell to lift the trophy. Doesn't look like there was any incidents for Tom either, so doesn't look like there's any chance that it would get removed either. So yeah, he's going to spray the champagne and he's going to really enjoy this win. So it is Tom Jewell to take the win. Of course, Adrian Villarreal and Paco Suarez dropping out of the top 2 places to take second and third respectively. Thiago is going to pick up a P4, so good day in the office for Haas and, well, indeed Renault, but of course Jared Fosbury with that penalty, he's going to be finishing in 8th. So it's Adrian Lennon in 5th, Kieran Spears in 6th, Adam Carr in 7th, and then Jared Fosbury, Reece March and Sean are going to round out the top 10, and then it's going to be Timber Stadens, Louis Quinlan, Dominic Hurley, and then I think it's Alan Wagner. No, actually Alan Wagner was only a lap down, so it's Marcel the only DNF today.
Very impressive from a few guys today. Driver of the day for you? Who's your driver of the day?
Well, that's easily Paco. I think
Paco
that's easy
Suarez
for me.
You. Just for the sake of variety, I'm gonna give it Tom, because the alternate strategy, as I know from last night and from previous France Grand Prix, is very, very overpowered. And Paco used every advantage he could to gain all them positions and played every card right. But there's one card he didn't play and one card he didn't get right, and that was the race win. And Tom had it in the bag from qualifying. Adrian put up a decent fight, but he just had it. Tom played every card in this corner. He controlled the race from start to finish. He had pressure from the Haas. He even had pressure from his teammate at one point because he didn't get the best of starts. But apart from the start, he lost one position. And a lot of good highlights in that race. Dominic, probably not the best of highlights, but a very good highlight from him. As we hear celebrations already from Tom, probably been on the piss, drink driving. Don't do that, kids. Just remember. But yeah, Dominic, my highlight of the race, him just being an absolute boat for whatever reason in that race. But as we wait for the people to join, here he is, underlay. Paco Taco. He's in the podium interviews. Here he is, my man. And then we just waiting obviously for Adrian as well. Do you want me to start and get it started and we go Tom last and do Paco first, or do you want to wait for Adrian, Kevin?
Well, Adrian's in anyway, so we'll be able to get started. We'll start, of course, with the race winner then. Tom Jewell, if we have you, just to make sure that your voices are, of course, on share.
Let me check quick. I have to turn off share for some of the stuff I say. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so, of course, Tom, you took the win here today. You took pole by an absolute country mile. And, well, your start wasn't the best, but you came through, you took the win.
Yeah, no, that quali session was ridiculous. I mean, I knew I was fairly quick around France, but I didn't expect to be quicker than Sassy. Because, I mean, he's rapid usually, and he still was today. But, I mean, I don't know how came over in the quali session, because that was actually my PB. So, and Tim helped me out a bit with the slipstream. Then in the race, a bit of a shit start, but that's just the usual with me. I'm lucky to only have lost one position. But yeah, I felt the race pace was good. Towards the end, I tried to sort of save my tyres because I saw what happened with the F1 guys. Even Matthew got a puncture, pitting on lap 7 or 8 or something. So I mean, I was trying to be careful.
Yeah, I just kind of zoned out there. Apologies, but I guess like no incidents either. Nothing really to jeopardise your win. In the end, was there any thinking that you wanted to take it on the line? Of course, you ended up letting both of them by. In the end, it wouldn't have mattered because you didn't have pens. But was there a thinking that like maybe you wanted to beat them on track as well to really show you were the best, or was it just kind of relax?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a tough race with Sassy behind me the whole way. I think I was a little bit quick in the first sector, but then towards the end, I was really trying to nurse the tyres. So I didn't let Sassy through. He actually passed me, like, fair enough. Didn't really have the fuel or ES for it anyway. I let Paco through, so I didn't want to battle him because the penalties. But I was actually driving on 2 warnings from lap 6, so it was really like touching over. I was going to get a penalty or not, so I had to be careful. But yeah, no, I was trying to go slow towards the end to avoid the pen and mainly save the tyres to avoid the puncture.
Well then, of course, next week is Brazil. I'm not sure how you do around there, but judging by today, you've got some pace. Lordy was talking about your cracked setup, apparently, of like how good it was, but do you have any more setups up your sleeve for Brazil, maybe, or is that it, and you're just going to be back to kind of around 5th or 4th?
Yeah, no, I'm not that quick around Brazil. I'm gonna try and go for podium again, but I mean, obviously, I'm just not that quick around Brazil, so I don't think I will get the podium. Maybe even not even top 4, top 5. But I'm sort of relying on Tim to do well in Brazil, because I mean, we're trying to get as high up in the constructors as we can. That's the main aim. So I'm hoping me and Tim can sort of dovetail when I'm not on my quick tracks, he's on his quick tracks. And he says he's strong for Brazil. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it for him, but not for me.
Okay then. Well, congratulations on your win anyway. I'm sure maybe a bit of confidence from that, and good luck for next week.
Cheers, thank you.
And then, Lordy, if you want to take Adrian then?
Yeah, I'm definitely talking to Paco after as well. Well, Adrian, your race was kind of similar to Tom's, really. Just slipstream fest for the entire time. You got a fantastic start. Actually got ahead of Tom off the start. I saw you saved a lot of ERS. First question for yourself, was that the buffer that you needed to keep Paco behind? Was that why you were saving the ERS?
Yeah, before anything, congratulations to Tom for the win. He totally deserved it. Congrats to Paco too for the podium. But yeah, that was the strategy basically. I didn't want the Renault to pass me. And then, I mean, I just wanted to pass Tom Jewell too because I was hoping he was going to get a penalty. So that was my plan since, like, I don't know, like lap 10 probably. Just stay behind him and then pass him at the end. But obviously the penalty, like, completely messed it up. You know, it's not the first time I cross first and then just like lose the win, but so it's fine. But yeah, congrats to him. And yeah.
Yeah, also as well, after seeing quali, you know, you were the second quickest out there, but seeing the gap difference between you and Tom, obviously you put in a very, very competitive lap time, you know, it'd be quite competitive in F1 as well, but seeing Tom's lap time, did you think there was a hope that you could battle Tom for the race win, or were you just trying to keep with him and then just see where the race took you?
Well, yeah, I was impressed with his lap time. I could never have done that time. But in the race, I was just worried about not getting a puncture at the end. So I was going to not drive too aggressively, and okay, if I can stay with him, then I can stay with him. And so I think the pace was okay in the race, to be honest. And if I didn't have the penalty, I could have won. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you were very impressive about that today. Final question, obviously, from myself. Don't know if Kevin wants to ask anything later on, but Brazil, obviously, is the next track. You are the championship leader, I believe, at this current time. Jared got P7 in the end, so not too bad a result from him. Obviously, he had a big penalty to take, but how confident are you around Brazil? Do you think you can extend that gap even further, or do you think Brazil's a bit of a dodgy track for you? You may want to just damage limitation, as they say.
Yeah, I think damage limitation. I don't really like that track too much for some reason. I like the layout. I'm just very slow for some reason around there. But we'll see. I mean, just try not to get into any incidents and just have fun.
Yeah, man, you said it yourself. Well, congratulations on P2. We'll move on to Paco now. I've got a few questions for Paco first, Kevin. I'll let you take over.
Go on then.
Paco Taco, Erie, it's on the podium. I said one of the Renaults on the alternate strategy would get here. I didn't know which one it was. I think I called Jared at the start just because he was higher in the championship. But well done, Paco. How are you feeling about a P3?
To be honest, really great. But I want to also congratulate Tom and Adrian because they did a brilliant job. And I have to say I felt really, really excited during the race, seeing my pace with such a pace and being able to finish a race, which I haven't done that that often. So quite happy. I mean, I cannot express myself of how happy I am.
Yeah, I was very impressed how quickly and how calculated you were getting through the field. It's not an easy feat trying to get through so many cars, even though you are in the faster tyre. Just want your opinion on, were you always going to do the alternate strategy, or was there a bit of you in your head thinking, oh, do I qualify in the softs and get amongst the guys, or were you always set on starting on the hards?
To be honest, I was planning on qualifying on the softs because all my experiences starting at the back of the grid haven't been great, so I wanted to secure a good position. And to be honest, I had the pace to match Tom's time, since in practice I was able to do similar times. But then Jared told me about the alternate strategy, and seeing how good in F1 it worked, as well as in FP, I decided, why not giving it a try? I mean, I only have 1 point in the whole standing, so what do I have to lose? And thanks to Jared, I have to say, I did that strategy and the pace couldn't have been better.
Yeah, you drove brilliantly out there, and congratulations on the third place. I said it was Redemption Day, as they quoted Daniel Ricciardo around Monaco. I thought it really was an impressive performance today, and proving a lot of people wrong. So, very impressive from you. I'll take it. Let Kevin take over. I imagine he's got a few words to say, but congratulations on P3.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Paco, obviously, a great podium for you. A bit of a break as well, of course, since, well, not even like last time you were getting consistent podiums was season 5, and then since then, season 6, 7, 8, like,
having a disaster.
Yeah, kind of more DNFs than podiums in a way, but
Yeah.
I mean, you finally kind of broke the duct, if you want to put it like that. You've got a podium. How do you think you'll bring this through to the next rounds? Do you think you could do this again? Maybe with a few more alt strats, maybe a bit more pace, or what are you thinking?
Well, hopefully it will be a turning point. Because I think today, I mean, I knew today I had the pace. I mean, generally this season I have had the pace to be up there, but for one reason or another, I couldn't do the quali lap when I needed it, or I invalidated in most of the attempts. But the speed and pace was there. The only thing was the consistency, as we always say. Today's race was brilliant. I cannot complain, although I think I could have been ahead of Sassy if it wasn't for those two cars battling. I think it was Kieran and Storm, I believe. But for next races, I don't know what races are left. But I hope it is a turning point, and at least not maybe in the podium, but be fighting for to be in the points and finishing races.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, if you were able to be up there more, it would help out Jared, who's had a little bit not too great of a race in terms of the championship. Of course, losing more points to Adrian. So hopefully for your sake and his, like the general team, that you can be up there more and help out that way as well. So yeah, I guess. Were you saying? I thought you were saying something.
No, nothing.
Okay. Well, I guess next race then, more specifically, Brazil. Do you think you can do well around Brazil? Certainly a bit of a different track to France, bit more corners, bit more flowing corners as well.
Not gonna lie, I haven't done a lap in Brazil in this game, I believe. I think Baku and Brazil were the only tracks I didn't do a race on in this game. So I don't really know how it will be. I mean, generally Brazil has been decent track for me, not the best, but not the worst. So hopefully I'll be able to help my teammate, which is basically my target until the end of the season, because until this race my help has been useless. So hopefully in Brazil my target would be to help my teammate as much as I can.
Okay, well, congratulations on the podium, of course, and good luck for the last few races.
Thank you very much.
Well, that has been, of course, IRL F2 here in France for round 8. Still a few rounds to go, and of course, still a championship battle to be thinking about between Jared Fosbury and Adrian Villarreal as well. So stay tuned for that. I don't think it's any bit over. I'm sure Jared Fosbury's got something up his sleeve. And of course, Paco, of course, a bit of confidence that maybe both Renaults can be up there for the last few races as well. So good things to come, I think. And yeah, that has been me and Laurie, and good night.
See you in a bit.